Good evening, sitting in for Indira Craig. I am Jo Marie Lanza. Tonight we'll tell you what's at stake in the Key-Cocker cannabis vote, and we'll tell you what caused that fire that took the life of a preschooler. Plus, a dramatic revision of the GDP growth figures for 2024 takes away one of the Prime Minister's major bragging points. Plus, we'll look deeper into the interdiction of Police Constable Barry Flowers and why it might be a distraction to focus on only that while looking at the Budna abduction. These stories and more are ahead on 7 News, so please stay tuned.
This newscast is brought to you by Cellular World, your authorized Samsung distributor.
Every day, the demand on your business gets higher. More productivity, better equipment, and reliable support to keep up with a fast-moving world. At Cellular World Business Solutions, we're ready to help you boost performance across every operation. Don't let outdated technology hold you back. With our certified and supported solutions, your business stays ahead. We supply office equipment, printers, inks, and toners, software licenses, IT system assembly as your Dell Platinum and Cisco partner, appliances, and custom orders tailored to your needs. From startups to large enterprises and renowned institutions, we serve every corner of the country because no industry can afford to fall behind on technology. Let's take your business to the next level. Contact us today at 610-2494. Cellular World Business Solutions, your reliable partner in business success.
At Atlantic Bank, your convenience is our priority. Our contact center is designed to enhance your banking experience. With a wide range of customer service options, you save time and effort. You can easily call in to block or unblock your debit and credit cards, perform account inquiries, and access detailed card information. Whether you need assistance with online banking, merchant support, or general inquiries, our team is ready to help. For added convenience, if all operators are busy, you can leave your number and an operator will return your call as soon as possible to ensure you receive the support you need. Depending on your transaction type, we may need to verify your identity through a set of security questions. And remember, Atlantic Bank will never request your username or password for Atlantic Online via phone call, text, or email, ensuring your personal information remains safe and secure. Our support team is available Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. in both English and Spanish. Simply dial 223-1212. This is a dedicated line for our contact center. Atlantic Bank is committed to providing you with exceptional service and the tools you need to manage your finances conveniently and securely. Take full advantage of our easy-to-use contact center services today.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Wake up to positivity and inspiration. It's a fresh and diverse twist on your mornings. Tune in to Sun Up on 7 every weekday morning at 6:30 a.m. right here on your nation station, Channel 7. It's the morning show you don't want to miss. Nando's Wholesale is the distributor for the full line of Badia spices, including the original complete seasoning, the perfect combination of ingredients and spices prepared to enhance the natural flavor of your favorite foods. Also, cinnamon powder for all your desserts, fruits, and beverages, and as special dishes. All these are available in commercial sizes or restaurant packaging. Nando's products are available at your local retailer or contact us at 222-5000. From Corozal to Toledo, Nando's is proud to be serving Belize as its #1 wholesale distributor for over 35 years.
What happens when one person decides to make a change? In communities across Belize, we're seeing the answer.
Hi, I'm I'm Kaylin Norris. I love being outside and surrounded by nature. When I heard about the national cleanup, I signed up right away. I don't litter, and I help clean up Belize, one piece of trash at a time.
It starts with one choice, one moment, one step towards something better. Across our beautiful country, everyday heroes are making a difference. In just one day, nearly 2,000 volunteers collected over 40,000 pounds of garbage. From local groups to national partners, Belizeans are uniting to protect what we love. Every cleanup, every piece of properly disposed waste, every conversation, it all creates a ripple effect. But we can't just continue to clean up after everybody's mess. Let's prevent it and be proactive, not reactive. Because remember, our Belize, our responsibility. Din it.
The new e-invoicing tax system means every purchase will be visible to those in power before you've even paid for it. Because in their minds, you're not citizens, you're suspects. And when they want to enforce, they can cherry pick. It's who they decide that gets sent to prison. It's who they say gets their heads shaved. And it's never the politicians.
Belizeans need to pay their taxes.
The Prime Minister's sister, Vanessa Briceño, is said to owe $11 million in taxes.
She went in there and she negotiated.
They can negotiate. Young Belizeans trying to come up in the world can't. With their new surveillance system, justice becomes a weapon. And it's aimed right at us. It's time to stand up and speak out before it's too late.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
The campaign to legalize cannabis on Key Caulker has started up in earnest, with proponents and opponents campaigning on the ground and on the airwaves. This week, the village councillor who started it all, Ilia Rosado, is making the media rounds. He wants to educate his constituents on what he says is a revenue-generating initiative for his village.
Cannabis is a plant that is already decriminalized. You can have 10 grams and it's legal for you to use and consume. But what we're trying to do is take this to the next step and use it as something good for the community by generating revenue through the legalization, formalization, and regulation of the market itself. Because currently as it stands, we have 10 grams, but there's nowhere that we can get it from. And this is what we're trying to change. But not just that, but also make it something positive that can come back to my community that has many needs in terms of helping for funding education, infrastructure, healthcare, and of course, our battle with sargassum. From the Ministry of Home Affairs, we got some data in terms of what the market could possibly or potentially be worth. And they seized and confiscated about 800 kilograms of cannabis in the last year. That has a street value of around $2 million. This possibly means that we could have had potential revenue of about $500,000 for our community in that case. And that's the sort of revenue I'd like to see for my community so that we can help change, make the schools better, rebuild roads, build new roads where they don't exist. We need resources to be able to do these things. What I want is for the people to be given a choice. And this is a moment where no one has ever been given this choice before. Now, my community has the potential to make a choice. And what I'd like to see is just for people to make an educated decision when they go out and vote on October 8th.
The campaign for the proponents of legalization will also include 2 public conferences where experts and local leaders will provide a platform for open dialogue on the divisive issue. And while Rosado says the campaign is about education, transparency, and empowerment, the political dimension is undeniable. He has a ranking minister on his side, but he also has to contend with the reality that referendums are non-binding. I asked him about those factors. Karim Musa is in your ad. Is he endorsing your campaign?
Yes. So going back to the pastors, it was actually the petition that Pastor Wade did that originally gave me the idea. I was wondering if he was able to stop that with a petition. I was wondering if it could work the other way around, and I started to think about that idea. And then I reached out to Minister Karim, and he was able to offer advice given his legal background. And of course, he's also in support of the new growth industries on that side for cannabis.
A referendum is not binding upon the government. Are you concerned that it may all be symbolic, just a trial balloon?
I mean, it's possible. However, what I want is for the people to be given a choice. And this is a moment where no one has ever been given this choice before.
The referendum will be held on October 8th. Last week, we reported on the tragic fire that claimed the life of 4-year-old Kyra Bennett. Around 5 o'clock in the morning of September 16th, the preschooler was asleep in her Belize City home along with her mom when the 2-story structure caught fire. Tonight, the fire department has established that the cause of the fire was electrical. According to the findings of the investigation, Kyra's grandfather, Winston Bennett, ran an electronic repair downstairs, and the fire reportedly originated from an electrical outlet that shorted out. It then spread to the upper level and throughout the entire structure. When the fire started, the mother exited the structure without the child, and numerous attempts were made to save her by getting in through the doors or windows, but it was impossible. Tonight, we continue our investigation of police involvement in the Joseph Budna abduction. So far, 1 police officer has been placed on interdiction because of it, even when there is strong videotaped evidence to suggest that at least 2 more were directly involved in his abduction. But to even focus on that 1 officer, Constable 476 Barry Flowers, may be too tight of a view of a much broader panorama of criminality. Jules Vasquez looked at what's been said about his interdiction and what it means, starting with the man who authorized it.
The call actually was mine after we have what the evidence that have come forward just thus far, where it is he has been identified as the only person has been identified so far, and so with that I thought that it was sufficient to put him on interdiction while the investigation continues. And as I said, that this is the same that occurs whenever a police officer, to the extent that there's some credible information that they may be involved in a crime, we will normally put them on interdiction.
So the acting commissioner accepts, as he likely must, that Joseph Budna's identification of Barry Flowers is credible.
He had on a white t-shirt, 3/4 pants, and I saw his face so I can recognize him. Yes, he's the one that had me over. The white t-shirt.
So you're saying that person in the picture identified as Barry Flowers?
Yes.
Are you certain?
Yes, from his face, I can recognize his face. Look at the picture carefully, and definitely I can identify him as that person who handed me over to the Guatemalan authorities.
Others who know PC Flowers tell us that the physiology of the abductor, wearing the three-quarter pants and white t-shirt, does resemble the constable. He was not in a police uniform, but did he have a police weapon? He got special authorization to sign one out of the Mahogany Street police station on Thursday, August 21st, the day before the abduction, and that is while Flowers was on leave.
In terms of Barry Flowers, how was he able to sign out a gun from SPU when he was on leave?
All those issues, whether internally, in terms of whether police officers breach their code of conduct, and or disciplinary procedures, everything with the investigation will be looking at all of that. So from a criminal perspective and also from an internal perspective. So if it means that a police officer may have reneged in his duty.
May have reneged on his duty, or worse, relinquished it altogether, and authorized a service weapon for an outlaw mission. The fact is, the officer who handed Barry Flowers the weapon was authorized to do so by a higher-up. And for sure, some weapon was repeatedly used in the kidnapping.
I'm badly beaten by the police department. I'm badly beaten. And they butt me into my head because I was screaming. And every time I fight for my breath or argue or try to ask for help and some water, they beat me with a gun butt into my ribs, into my face, into my head.
The question now hangs whether the CZ 9mm pistol handed to Barry Flowers at the Mahogany Street police station was the one used for this dastardly deed.
We note again that this is the second time in 6 months that Constable Barry Flowers has been on interdiction. Former Commissioner of Police Williams placed him on interdiction in April, and when Rosado took office in May, he took him off interdiction and transferred him to the SPU. We take a break now. When we come back, we'll show you how a dramatic revision of the GDP for 2024 could take some serious wind out of Briseño's sails. And we always hear about cattle exports and how good they are for the economy. But what happens when pastures start taking away from protected forests? I asked the experts today. Stay tuned.
Please, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
At Atlantic Bank, your convenience is our priority. Our contact center is designed to enhance your banking experience. With a wide range of customer service options, you save time and effort. You can easily call in to block or unblock your debit and credit cards, perform account inquiries, and access detailed card information. Whether you need assistance with online banking, merchant support, or general inquiries, our team is ready to help. For added convenience, if all operators are busy, you can leave your number and an operator will return your call as soon as possible to ensure you receive the support you need. Depending on your transaction type, we may need to verify your identity through a set of security questions. And remember, Atlantic Bank will never request your username or password for Atlantic Online via phone call, text, or email, ensuring your personal information remains safe and secure. Our support team is available Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. in both English and Spanish. Simply dial 223-1212. This is a dedicated line for our contact center. Atlantic Bank is committed to providing you with exceptional service and the tools you need to manage your finances conveniently and securely. Take full advantage of our easy-to-use contact center services today.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Wake up to positivity and inspiration. It's a fresh and diverse twist on your mornings. Tune in to Sun Up on 7 every weekday morning at 6:30 a.m. right here on your nation station, Channel 7. It's the morning show you don't want to miss.
Look here, your kitchen light there and the vent in the kitchen. Mama going back in there right now. And the coffee maker?
Just to try keep me the coffee warm for later.
Where do you know?
I'll try to think more if you eat.
You know the more you open or close the fridge, it takes longer for the food cool.
Uh-huh.
For a hot day like today, it burns more energy. You to charge your phone right now?
No.
Plug it out then. You really only wash 2 Lee socks and 1 Lee shirt? You don't know what small load burn the same amount of electricity as large loads?
But this is my favorite shirt.
You have to be more energy efficient. Use large loads. This AC, the blow hard. You know, if you keep the temperature at 25 degrees Celsius or higher, you burn less energy and you also keep the place cool. And for a nice day like today, turn off the AC, open up the house and make some fresh breeze come in.
You know what? I think I get it now. As consumers, we need to be more energy efficient and practice energy conservation.
Here's how to be a part of Benny's Homecation in 3 easy steps. First, download the B-Bucks app and sign up to be eligible. It's fast and easy. Then, shop at any Benny's location or Benny's entity. Remember to choose products from our monthly Homecation jackpot categories to earn entries. Now you can earn B-Bucks with purchases made and be a part of the Benny's Homecation jackpot for a chance to win the $10,000 grand prize in December. Win the ultimate Homecation with Benny's, quality and savings.
On 8 October 2025, voters of Key Cocker Village in the Belize Rural South Electoral Division will have an opportunity to be a part of history by voting in a referendum. It is your decision and choice to vote. Exercise it. Let your decision be your choice. Disabled, elderly, and pregnant women will be given priority. The voter enters the polling station and shows her voter identification card. The poll clerk announces her name in an audible voice. The first poll clerk verifies the particulars of the voter on the voters list, while the second poll clerk verifies the particulars in the electoral binder. The voter's name is then ruled off from the voters list. The voter is then required to show her right index finger to ensure that she has not yet voted. The voter's right finger is then dipped up to the first joint in the indelible ink. The voter is then directed to the presiding officer, who initials a ballot paper and issues it to the voter. The voter then proceeds to the polling booth and marks a cross in the box of her choice on the right-hand side of the ballot paper. When the voter has marked her vote, she folds the ballot paper so as to conceal the vote, shows the presiding officer her initials, and then places the ballot paper inside the ballot box. The voter then exits the polling station. Remember, you are permitted to vote for a yes or no choice only. Electors are encouraged to take along their voter identification card to their polling station to facilitate the process. Your ballot paper will be considered void and not counted if it does not have the presiding officer's initial, the voter has voted for more than one choice, the ballot paper is not marked for any choice, the ballot paper contains any writing or marking that can identify the voter, and the ballot paper is unmarked or void for uncertainty. Let your choice be your voice. A message brought to you by the Election and Boundaries Department.
Here For the last 5 months, 7 teams were traversing the Belize Premier Basketball League jungle. 5 teams were eaten alive by pressure to survive. And now there's only 2 teams that remain to fight for who will be crowned the Benny's Jaguar Cup champion in the BPBL.
Yo, watch out. BPBL, right now are the hottest league in a Belize.
This is it, the granddaddy of them all, the big dance for the right to be called the 2025 BPBL Benny's Jaguar Cup champion. The Belize Civic Center will be the rendezvous on Friday and Saturday, September 26th and 27th for Game 1 and 2 in the best of 3 series. Tip-off time 9 p.m. Which team will navigate through the BPBL jungle and be crowned? Welcome to the jungle. Introducing to you the 2025 Leslie's Imports Mayan Cup champion, the Kaya Western Ballers, led by their division finals MVP, Arik Nicholas, the high-flying Jaheim Sego, and their sharpshooter Devon Campbell on a journey to bring the Western Ballers their first BPBL championship. But who stands in their way? The Santiago Castillo Toucan Cup champion, the mighty San Pedro Tiger Sharks, led by the division MVP, Jihad Wright, the Rebound King, Brian Bessa White, and the Speed Demon, Francis Naitiarana. Who will win the $15,000 and the 20 Benny's championship rings? Ring out the entire family Friday and Saturday, September 26th and 27th at the Belize Civic Center, beginning at 9 p.m. sharp for the BPBL Benny's Championship Classic. Lots of entertainment and giveaways. BPBL welcomes you to the jungle, where the Jaguar Cup will be raised. Sponsors.
Shine Jamal Barrow is back in Belize.
From the moment he touched down in Belize, Shine Barrow has been under pressure. Pressure to prove himself, pressure to overwrite history, pressure to live up to his family name.
I am a natural as my father, as my Uncle Finnegan, as my Uncle Dean Lindo, as my grandmother Esme Dias, who helped founded the NIP with Philip Golson.
But he cracked under the pressure. We watched his promises of greatness crumble. They gave him everything. The name, the connections, the credibility, and he turned it all to dust. Shine Barrow, you're not just a rotten fruit of your family tree. You're a dead end, a disgrace to your family name, a liability to the party that shuns you, a joke to the voters who rejected you, and a stain on the flag you pretend to love. It's time for you to grow up and step down. The new e-invoicing tax system means every purchase will be visible to those in power before you've even paid for it. Because in their minds, you're not citizens, you're suspects. And when they want to enforce, they can cherry pick. It's who they decide that gets sent to prison. It's who they say gets their heads shaved. And it's never the politicians.
Belizeans need to pay their taxes.
The Prime Minister's sister, Vanessa Briceño, is said to owe $11 million in taxes.
She went in there and she negotiated.
They can negotiate. Young Belizeans trying to come up in the world can't. With their new surveillance system, justice becomes a weapon. And it's aimed right at us. It's time to stand up and speak out before it's too late.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
The rate of GDP growth for 2024 was 8.2%. If you had $1 every time the Prime Minister said that, you might have a stack of bills as high as the sky. Indeed, the strong GDP growth is a cornerstone of the Briceño administration's boasts. In fact, in the budget speech in May, here's how the PM proudly put it.
In 2024, according to the recently published IMF data, the IMF, not us, Belize had the highest GDP growth rate in the Western Hemisphere at 8.2%, second only to the oil exporting nation of Guyana.
And indeed, the IMF repeated that figure in its Article 4 review with Belize just 9 days ago. But today, in its recap of the GDP for 2024, the Statistical Institute of Belize turned all of that GDP boasting into fake news. They gave the final revised GDP figure for 2024, and it's not 8.2%, it's 3.5%. Decent, but surely not the second highest in the Western Hemisphere. Jacqueline Sabal of the SIB's Economic Statistics Department explained that over 8% projection of 2024's GDP ended up at less than half of that number.
It is important to note that the annual GDP growth rate for 2024 of 3.5% differs from the estimated 8% derived from the quarterly GDP figures. This discrepancy is due to the fact that the annual GDP is based on a more comprehensive data set.
What accounts for the dramatic revision between 8.1% and 3.5%, if you had to attribute it to one thing?
When we get annual data, or when we compile annual GDP and we get a lot of revised numbers, then we also have to revise as well. We also have a more comprehensive data set at that time. For the quarterly, we only use volume indicators. When the annual comes around, we have more access to financial reports, revenue data, etc.
And that more complete end-of-year data showed strong performance from the primary, or what you might call the agricultural sector.
Throughout the year, all three sectors recorded notable growth. The primary sector grew by 2.8%, mainly due to recovery from unfavorable weather conditions experienced in the previous year. The secondary sector was up by 3.3% due to improved performance across all secondary sector industries, coupled with the introduction of a local cement producing factory. While the tertiary sector reported the most significant growth of 4.6%, and this was the result of increases mainly in accommodation and food services.
And turning now to the current GDP for the second quarter of 2025, growth has been sluggish at 0.8%, with the primary and secondary sectors driving growth, while the usually robust services sector contracted. Sabal explained that agricultural mainstays such as banana and even citrus performed well.
Growth in the second quarter was driven by the primary sector, which was up by 10.9%. Banana production rose by 20.4%, from 23.7 thousand to 28.5 thousand metric tons in the second quarter of 2025, marking a return to more normal output levels for this commodity after 2 years of suppressed production due to disease and weather-related challenges. Citrus was up nearly by more than 2/3, from 6.1 to 10.4 thousand metric tons. This was the result of growing maturity and productivity of HLB-resistant citrus trees. For livestock, we saw growth of 9.9%, supported by increased production of cattle by 10.4%, pigs by 15.2%, and then also poultry by 8.1%, which were driven by favorable export prices and consistent domestic demand. The industry with the most negative impact was wholesale and retail trade. However, we can also observe negative contributions from electricity, taxes, public administration, and other service activities. Note that activities within the tertiary sector were down during the second quarter of this year. This is the first tertiary sector decline that we have seen since early 2021. The primary drivers of this decline were the wholesale and retail trade industry, which fell by 5% due to a decrease in the importation of goods. Transport services were down by 4.4% due to a decrease in passenger transport, along with public administration, which decreased by 2.8% due to a reduction in government recurrent expenditure.
And while the primary sector carried the second quarter, Sabal says the role of tourism was negligible.
The contribution of tourism for this quarter was very small. It's slow season as well for quarter two, so we didn't have a lot of visitors. Overnight actually decreased and cruise ship had a slight increase. So tourism was very small in the second quarter. And that could also be a reason why tertiary was down.
And while the economic slowdown in the second quarter is already in the books, looking ahead to the third quarter, the statisticians point to a new metric called the Consumer Confidence Index. They say it is on the pessimistic side right now.
The national consumer confidence generally trended downward since the beginning of this year. This can also be interpreted as an early indicator of economic activity for the year of 2025. As price increases, consumer confidence declines.
If there is continued decline in consumer confidence, is it an indicator that the economy may also be contracting?
So we're measuring for this year so far that levels of consumer sentiment are in the pessimistic range. So persons, from what the CCI tells you, this means that persons are likely not to spend. So you can use this as an early indicator of GDP growth for the year. We're currently at around 47.4 for this year, still in the range of pessimism, so you can use that to guide where economic growth is likely to fall, which is not very high since persons are feeling pessimistic. So they're likely not to spend a lot of money.
We'll have more figures from today's SIB press conference in tomorrow's news. 57% of Belize's land is under conservation protection, but at times some of the forests are cleared not for logging but for livestock. Our farmers rely on these rural areas to raise their cattle, and with the growth of this sector, it's getting harder not to clear the land for cattle farming. This is why the Nature Conservancy has stepped in to collaborate with two of our neighboring countries who are also experiencing the same problem. TNC is hosting a tri-national roundtable discussion on how we can develop a module to raise livestock in a sustainable manner. That is without taking away from the rainforest. I visited the workshop today, and here's what I learned. Livestock farming in Belize has one of the highest economic output values, producing up to 94 million USD in 2021. But the sector is also a huge threat to our forests because of its unsustainability and poor production practices. Other countries like Guatemala and Mexico have also been experiencing the same. Livestock farming is extremely vulnerable to climate change, and so these countries have joined together in a tri-national roundtable meet to develop a framework that will transform livestock farming into a more environmentally friendly practice, in turn mitigating the deforestation occurring within the Selva Maya.
It is something that we have been trying to get everybody together. So we're finally here. It's a big step forward. And hopefully this yield the result that we're looking for, because the plan and looking at livestock, it is not something that is done overnight. So we need to plan properly, look at funding, see where these resources will come from, how we can pool the resources and have a better management of our forest system. Remember that also we talk a lot of biodiversity loss because of livestock production. So if we can get a proper plan in place, we will be able to minimize some of these challenges, especially as it relates to soil, water management, and likewise the management of our forests.
The Nature Conservancy is leading the two-day workshop that seeks to engage with both public and private sectors as to how best they can approach the issue over a period of time.
TNC is supporting the sector, including our major stakeholders, the Ministry of Agriculture, Belize Livestock Producer Association, University of Belize Central Farm, and the Belize Maya Forest in providing the technical know-how in terms of the implementation of regenerative practices within the sector. It is where we are training our extension officers within the sector, as well as the livestock producer in sustainable practices that will allow us to do that transition to sustainable livestock. I think that within the roundtable, we are considering the entire country. Why? Because we know that Belize possess more than 57% of our land under conservation. So I think that we are a very good example for the region in terms of providing that support to our forests. But at the same time, I think that we are very fortunate that we have the implementation of this model farm for our farmers, for our livestock stakeholders, whereby we can test a lot of these practices, sustainable practices in livestock, that will allow us to do that transition that we are envisioning in the long term.
At present, Belize exports up to 43,000 animals on hoof into our neighboring countries for sale, and only 9 to 10K stay within country to support locals. CEO for the Belize Livestock Producers Association, William Usher, says that grass-fed livestock has proved to be one of the safest and best produced ways of raising cattle. All they have to do is tweak it a bit to ensure it is fully sustainable and doesn't harm the forest population.
In essence, what Belize is doing, we are basically, our livestock production is grass-fed. And grass-fed beef in itself is a whole nother market. And we have been doing that from day one, unlike many other countries like the US and these others who are doing cattle production in confinement, which is a whole nother system that is causing a lot of the environmental problems that you know about. It's not the grass-fed one.
So we want to stick with the grass-fed, right?
So you'll stick with the grass-fed, but you will allow for the other techniques to come in play to allow for efficiency within that system. But your market now, once we are able to find a differentiated market, that grass-fed market, the prices are 2-4 times more than what the regular market is. And the fortunate thing about the whole regenerative issue is all these techniques that you are using or that you will be implementing to conserve or to save the forest are the same techniques that you will be using to increase productivity. And so in the end, it's a win-win, say for the, in relation to forest conservation or forest using it sustainably, and the issue of the economic viability of the farms.
Jo Marie Lanza, 7 News. The workshop established short, medium, and long-term milestones, which they expect to meet. And we take a break now. When we come back, the Port Authority lashes out at a member of the public who complained about corruption. And the Guatemalan president spoke to the UN General Assembly today. We'll tell you what he said. Stay tuned.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Let's take a journey through the core functions of the Social Security Board. It all starts with registering as an insured person, employer, or self-employed individual. Sign up for a portal account to manage your Social Security information online. Just provide accurate information and click Create. This will give you access to a range of services and benefits. Next, your contribution, along with investments and other income, are collected and distributed into 3 funds. This ensures that the SSB fund is securely utilized to support various benefit programs. The SSB is committed to providing essential benefits such as sickness, maternity, injury, and pension. These benefits are paid out to eligible individuals as a part of the Social Security coverage. We help you navigate through life's challenges with financial security. Annual surplus accumulates to grow the fund each year. This surplus is invested into various industries, contributing to the growth and development of our nation. With each passing year, the fund continues to grow due to the annual surplus and interest revenue earned from prudent investments. This surplus, along with reserves, helps to bolster the SSB fund and provide a safety net for those in need. We've arrived at the end of our journey to better understanding how the SSB works. We remain committed to serving you and building a secure future for all Belizeans.
Welcome to the V Department Store. We are conveniently located on Coney Drive in Belize City. That's right on Coney Drive in Belize City. At the V Department Store, we offer a wide variety of groceries, cosmetics, kitchen appliances, kitchenware, electronics, and more. We've also recently expanded to the second floor to better meet your household and office furniture needs. We now have a wide variety of furniture, home decor, and accessories. We have a shared vision for a comfortable and customer-friendly shopping experience. Visit us today and be warmly greeted by our reasonable prices and cordial staff. The V Department Store. Experience the ultimate shopping destination.
The roads of Belize connect us all. Riders, drivers, families, friends. Every day begins with a little routine and the confidence that life's journeys are protected. From school drop-off through the daily grind and everything in between, each with different roads ahead, yet one common goal: to arrive safely. Atlantic Insurance stands with Belize's riders and motorists with affordable protection, support, and peace of mind for the journey ahead. For the roads we share and the lives we protect, Atlantic Insurance is by your side, insuring you from life's unexpected. Atlantic Insurance, insuring you from life's unexpected.
Tenemos la capacidad técnica, operativa, profesional y la infraestructura de poder establecer una atención neurológica de alta calidad.
Que no se pierda tiempo de forma innecesaria para poder al final del día llegar al mejor de los resultados y la mejor opción para el paciente.
Shine Jamal Barrow is back in Belize.
From the moment he touched down in Belize, Shine Barrow has been under pressure. Pressure to prove himself, pressure to overwrite history, pressure to live up to his family name.
I am a natural as my father, as my Uncle Finnegan, as my Uncle Dean Lindo, as my grandmother Esmedias, who helped found the NIP with Philip Golson.
But he cracked under the pressure. We watched his promises of greatness crumble. They gave him everything. The name, the connections, the credibility, and he turned it all to dust. Shine Barrow, you're not just a rotten fruit of your family tree. You're a dead end, a disgrace to your family name, a liability to the party that shuns you, a joke to the voters who rejected you, and a stain on the flag you pretend to love. It's time for you to grow up and step down.
This newscast is brought to you by Cellular World, your authorized Samsung distributor.
Every day, the demand on your business gets higher. More productivity, better equipment, and reliable support to keep up with a fast-moving world. At Cellular World Business Solutions, we're ready to help you boost performance across every operation. Don't let outdated technology hold you back. With our certified and supported solutions, your business stays ahead. We supply office equipment, printers, inks, and toners, software licenses, IT system assembly as your Dell Platinum and Cisco partner, appliances, and custom orders tailored to your needs. From startups to large enterprises and renowned institutions, we serve every corner of the country because no industry can afford to fall behind on technology. Let's take your business to the next level. Contact us today at 610-2494. Cellular World Business Solutions, your reliable partner in business success.
At Atlantic Bank, your convenience is our priority. Our contact center is designed to enhance your banking experience. With a wide range of customer service options, you save time and effort. You can easily call in to block or unblock your debit and credit cards, perform account inquiries, and access detailed card information. Whether you need assistance with online banking, merchant support, or general inquiries, our team is ready to help. For added convenience, if all operators are busy, you can leave your number and an operator will return your call as soon as possible to ensure you receive the support you need. Depending on your transaction type, we may need to verify your identity through a set of security questions. And remember, Atlantic Bank will never request your username or password for Atlantic Online via phone call, text, or email, ensuring your personal information remains safe and secure. Our support team is available Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. in both English and Spanish. Simply dial 223-1212. This is a dedicated line for our contact center. Atlantic Bank is committed to providing you with exceptional service and the tools you need to manage your finances conveniently and securely. Take full advantage of our easy-to-use contact center services today.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Wake up to positivity and inspiration. It's a fresh and diverse twist on your mornings. Tune in to Sun Up on 7 every weekday morning at 6:30 a.m. right here on your nation station, Channel 7. It's the morning show you don't want to miss. Nando's Wholesale is the distributor for the full line of Badia spices, including the original complete seasoning, the perfect combination of ingredients and spices prepared to enhance the natural flavor of your favorite foods. Also, cinnamon powder for all your desserts, fruits, and beverages, and as special dishes. All these are available in commercial sizes or restaurant packaging. Nando's products are available at your local retailer or contact us at 222-5000. From Corozal to Toledo, Nando's is proud to be serving Belize as its #1 wholesale distributor for over 35 years.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
On Friday night's news, you may have seen competitive fisher from San Pedro, Jorge Aldana, railing against the multi-agency shakedown that fishing vessels leaving Belize for a tournament in Roatan had to pay upon departure and return. Well, as the old Bible saying goes, let he without sin cast the first stone. And so has the Belize Port Authority in a righteous press release, which says they, quote, categorically denounce these allegations as they relate to the Belize Port Authority. following a thorough review of the documentation submitted by the masters of vessels that departed Belize for the tournament and upon their return. The BPA confirms that there was no irregularity on the part of the authority. All processes were executed in strict compliance with established procedures and in line with our legal obligations, end quote. Well, in response, Aldana has provided screenshots from his tour guide chat where there are numerous anecdotes and photos of corruption by officials. We have heard of similar complaints coming out of Placencia. Andrew Munnings of Munnings Funeral Services dominated the news last week, and this morning he was on Sun Up on 7 to talk about his recent experience of being jailed and having his head shaved by the prison. Today he explained what his downfall in business was.
I think the biggest thing is knowing what type of business you have.
Okay.
That was my downfall. You know, because while I should have registered my business as like a consultancy, a directing business, I registered my business as just a funeral home, which means that I am now telling them that I have all of these software I produce. So now that I am at this place, not here on this couch, but before this we have told them, you guys are assessing us wrong because we got it wrong. From us being in the court, when the magistrate says there must be some type of communication between the tax service and my business to get it wrong, because even she said it, probably you are taxing him wrong, or probably he just registered the business wrong. So do we then continue it from here, knowing that something is wrong, knowing that I was forcibly led to this directive that the tax service wanted to work with me, so just go in a court and plead guilty? And when I went into court and I plead guilty, it's me owning up to all of this, plus another lump sum from court charges and everything. At that time, I did not know what I was putting myself into. I felt like the system was just built for young people to just own a business and everything was going to be good. But that taught me different. And my advice to any young business coming up, know what type of business you are registering, know what type of services you will be providing, and know how, in terms of the name, is it a partnership? You want to own the business? Because now, even though all of this tax is owed and you hear Munnings Funeral Services, know that Andrew Munnings owe all of that. So even if Munnings closed down, Andrew Munnings owe all of that. Right? So the most important thing, know what type of business you are registering and make sure it is done right. If you don't know alone, get help and seek advice, whether it is legal advice or someone who knows the process.
Sun Up repeats after the news tonight. The United Nations General Assembly continued today in New York City. Guatemalan President Bernardo Arévalo addressed the assembly this afternoon, and while he did talk about the Belize-Guatemala case before the ICJ, he said nothing about the recent incidents on the Sarstoon. Here's the Belize portion of his 21-minute address.
Madam President, the forthcoming judgment of the International Court of Justice will bring an end to the territorial, insular and maritime dispute with our neighbour Belize. The written phase has now been concluded and the oral hearings are scheduled for next year. We now stand before an historic opportunity to open a new chapter in relations between the two countries. Resolving this dispute peacefully is an example of how even the most complex differences can lead to peace and cooperation. Guatemala reiterates its commitment to strengthening its bilateral relations with Belize on the basis of mutual respect, peaceful cooperation, and the observance of international law.
Belize's Prime Minister Briceño addresses the Assembly on Friday. A real estate developer accused of misappropriating tens of millions of dollars that was supposed to finance the Sanctuary Belize development in the Stan Creek district has been sent to jail in the U.S. 56-year-old Andres Puque was convicted on 1 count of wire fraud and 1 count of unlawful monetary transactions in July and was sentenced on Monday to an 8-year prison sentence by a judge in a New York courtroom. Prosecutors from the Federal Trade Commission showed that hundreds of victims, many of them retirees, were defrauded of approximately $77 million, what the Belize-based real estate scam. Puque conned hundreds of U.S. investors to put down more than $100 million in lots in Sanctuary Belize. They purchased lots with the understanding that they would obtain lots that they could use to build retirement homes, vacation homes in the process. Belize's Atlantic International Bank was also exposed and had to be liquidated while reaching a settlement with the Federal Trade Commission. And finally tonight, we want to say happy 109th birthday to one of Belize's longest living men and one of its greatest sporting legends, Bertie Ellis. He is seen posing here with his friends from the Holy Redeemer Credit Union. Happy 109th birthday, Mr. Bertie. And that's all we have for you on 7 News tonight. On this Wednesday night. Thanks for watching. I am Jo Marie Lanza. You can find a full transcript of the news at 7newsbelize.com and see the streaming video on our Facebook page. Have a good night and join Miriam Abdul Kawi back here on Monday night.